Wouldn't be Ryan the Great. And today we have another Sulli's Top 5 for you. We got top 5 teams in the NFL after Week 15 of the 2024-2025 NFL season. And yeah, I mean, the list changed a little bit, obviously, because of some, games that, or some outcomes of a few games. The list probably going to stay most of the same over the next couple of weeks. We might have a few changes here and there, but the list will probably remain relatively the same as we move into the postseason. And yeah, let's just get right into it. But before we get into it, obviously I'm going to tell you guys what to do. But I'm sniffling a lot, which is not good. When I got into school this morning, I started sniffling, and I don't know why. So if you guys hear me sniffling in the video, yeah, I don't really know. Hopefully I'm not getting sick again because, yeah, I remember when I got sick for when I had to commentate the O'Hara game against St. Joe's Prep, and that was a disaster. I was so sick. But yeah, thank God I have no obligations at the current moment in time. So yeah, let's get right into the video. Before we get right into it, guys, make sure you guys subscribe to the post notifications on. Go subscribe to my brother Living Great Vlogs. Make sure you subscribe to my second channel, Around the Cloud Great. Make sure you guys go follow me on X Around the Great RTG. Make sure you guys go follow me on TikTok Around the Great RTG. Make sure you guys go listen to the latest edition of the CR7 podcast. And make sure you guys go follow me on Twitch Around the Great Podcast. And for you, ladies and gentlemen, from the video, let's roll that intro. Hey, come on, starting. Stop! 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 Red flag! First pitch! Bring him in! Yes! Oh, damn. All right, let's go in the video. So starting off at number 5, I have the Kansas City Chiefs. Why? Well, they win again. And it's, just kind of what you have to base it off of. They win again. Do they look good? Do they look great in doing it? No. Do they look half decent? Yes. The defense played good, which is what we've been accustomed to seeing this season. The offense, better, I guess you could say. Mahomes, 2 passing touchdowns. Only went 19 of 38, though, with 159 yards passing. The run game continues to not do great. They average 3.8 yards a carry as a team. But I think Xavier Worthy averaging 10 yards a carry had something to do with that, kind of boosting those numbers. But the top 2 backs, Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco, just not doing anything of note. Worthy obviously had a rushing touchdown, but they are not doing anything of note. And, the receiving, you have Worthy, Kelsey, Hopkins, they're doing decent, I guess you could say. But nothing extraordinary, nothing great you're seeing from the Kansas City Chiefs, nothing out of this world. You put up 21 points against a decent defense, so, it's not anything to knock your socks off over, but they're 13-1. They're still playing like one of the best teams in the NFL. And you got to put them at number 5. At number 4, I'm going to put the Minnesota Vikings. And I'm going to not hate on the Minnesota Vikings this week. Normally I have them lower on the list. But obviously they're in the lower half. But, they're not looking bad at all. You beat the Chicago Bears. You put up 30 on that defense. That is probably the better part of their team. The Bears obviously were 0-6 going into opposing team stadiums in this game. But you look pretty decent. Caleb Williams, nothing of note against this defense. And then Addison and Jefferson, another great game. Jefferson could have had a second touchdown if he wouldn't have dropped the one pass as he was getting out of his break, but that's neither here nor there. Aaron Jones, a pretty decent game, 86 yards on the ground, averaged 4.8 yards a carry. Was really taking it to the Chicago Bears, very aggressive in this game. I really like to see that from him. Sam Darnold, pretty decent. You threw 40 passes, only threw for 231 yards, a touchdown and a pick, but, at the end of the day, you got the job done. Did you game manage? Not necessarily. He did take the Vikings downfield when they needed to, which is pretty much for the majority part of the game. But the Vikings keep winning. They're 12-2. Their offense is looking really, really good, especially with Addison stepping up in the last couple of weeks along with Jefferson. You got to put them a little higher on the list this week. I'm going to put them at number 4. And then at number 3, I'm going to put the Detroit Lions. Obviously their defense did not look what we have wanted them to Jesus Christmas. What we have wanted it to see over the past couple of weeks. Jared Goff threw 60 times, and almost threw for 500 yards, 5 touchdown passes. Jahmyr Gibbs a touchdown as well on the ground. And, you're looking at Amon-Ra St. Brown, 193 yards receiving and a touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs, a pretty good game. Jameson Williams as well. Sam Laporta, 7 catches, 111 yards. Got to look at him. He's playing great as of late. Not great, but playing pretty decent. It really was just your defense. And this is a big concern for the Detroit Lions going into the next couple of weeks here, because you're going to have some tough games. I'm looking at the remaining part of your schedule. I have it pulled up right now. You got to face the Bears, the 49ers, and the Vikings. The Bears took you to the limit on Thanksgiving. The 49ers, while not a great year, their offense still has some talent remaining. And then the Vikings is obviously going to be your toughest game, and their offense has been looking really, really good, especially this past week. So you're looking at the defense right now of the Lions, and they're very, very hurt. And that is going to be a concern heading into the playoffs. But from what we have seen, I'm not going to put the Lions lower on the list. Just because I think their offense is still really, really good, even without David Montgomery for the rest of the season. I still think this offense is very, very good. They put up 42, obviously, without Montgomery for most of the game. And, if your defense can do a little bit better, then I think your offense will be able to help you out. So I'm going to put them at number 3. And as I'm looking up here, Carlton Davis and McNeil on injured reserve, obviously. Looking at notifications as they pop up. Just as I mentioned it. So they're at number 3. At number 2, I'm going to put the Philadelphia Eagles. Some people are trying to make excuses. If the Steelers would have had this, if the Steelers would have had that, then they would have won the game. They lost by 2 scores, and they got 2 turnovers that they couldn't convert into points. One time they turned it into points, but they had 2 turnovers and had 3 points off those 2 turnovers, so I don't really know how you could say that, the Steelers would have won if they would have had this, that, and the other, because they just didn't look really good. But the Eagles looked really, really good. Obviously, Jalen Hurts with a great passing game, 290 yards, 2 touchdowns. Not much of Saquon Barkley. I mentioned this in my recap video that they were just sending the pressure at him the entire game. Smith, Brown looking great. Thank God they're back at it. Kenneth Gainwell, a few nice receptions as well. Not much from Calcaterra, but the defense is really what's been holding it down for the Eagles. They've been great ever since the bye, and you got to give them credit where credit is due right there. They're on a 10-game winning streak. They just beat a really good team in the Pittsburgh Steelers. You got to put them at number 2. Number 1, I'm going to have to put the Buffalo Bills. Listen, your defense gave up 42. It's looked up and down, but your offense put up 48, even though it was against a Lions defense that was hurt. The Lions, they have a very good rotational starters as well. They have good second-team guys. It's not like they're, a bad team in any way, shape, or form. But, putting up 48 against really any team in the NFL is very, very hard to do. Josh Allen, almost 400 yards passing, 362, and threw the ball like 25 less times than Jared Goff did. So you got to give him credit. James Cook, great game on the ground, had a couple nice rushing touchdowns. Josh Allen also got into the end zone, rushing twice as well. Then you're looking at the receiving. Ty Johnson coming out of nowhere, having a good game. Coleman had a nice bomb, I think, that resulted in a touchdown at the end of the drive. Kincaid, Knox, obviously a great 2 tight end system. Then you're looking at Khalil Shakir, who obviously did not have the game that we were hoping for him to have, because he's played well over the past couple of weeks, but still brought in a touchdown as well. Ray Davis, touchdown for him. And, really great games here from the Buffalo Bills. This without Amari Cooper. And even when he comes back, I'm sure will make a difference as well. And you got to put the Bills at number 1. So that's the list this week. You got the Bills, you got the Eagles, the Lions, Vikings, and Chiefs. Not really much of an argument you can make for any team this week, in my opinion. I feel like it was pretty straightforward. Obviously, the Pittsburgh Steelers lost. The Packers, I don't think they've been looking as good as the Minnesota Vikings have. And then obviously they lost to the Lions on Thursday Night Football. The Texans, they're not really what we hope for them to be. They're barely surviving games. Then you're looking at the Ravens as well. Not really much to say about them. They beat up on the Giants. I think pretty much every team has done that. But yeah, So that's the list. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Make sure you guys subscribe with the post notifications on. Go subscribe to my brother Living Great Vlogs. Make sure you guys subscribe to my second channel at Around the Cod Great. Make sure you guys go follow me on X Around the Great RTG. Make sure you guys go follow me on TikTok at Around the Great RTG. Make sure you guys go listen to the latest edition of the CR7 podcast. Make sure you guys go follow me on Twitter at Around the Great Podcast. And as always, Around the Great out. Peace.